So I've just gotten back from holiday. Dad's been looking after the garden for me and I have a lot of jobs to do because this is crazy. Ignore the recycling I need to take out. Dad has given me some really big like garden waste bags, so I need to cut everything back, trellis everything, deadhead everything, and also get rid of anything that has kind of died or is not doing so well. And I also have a few things in pots or hanging baskets that aren't doing very well, so I'm going to have a swap around of some plants and overall just give everything a massive tidy up. So I hope you enjoy and let's get going because this is stressing me out. We're also going to be doing a big, I say a big, I don't know how big it's going to be yet, but a harvest of everything that has grown whilst I've been away. And I also would love to pick some flowers for inside the house as well, and some herbs as well, I think. But yeah, very excited to see what's grown. I had a sneaky peek yesterday when I walked back through the garden because my drive is at the back, and I was really hoping that some tomatoes were going to have ripened when I was on holiday. I don't think I've seen any ripe ones yet, but to be honest, it's probably because they are so overgrown and the sun can't even get to them. So they are in desperate need of some pruning, and also feeding probably as well. I've got a new watering can for my birthday, so we're going to use that to fertilise the tomatoes as well and just get everything sorted. Okay, I'm going to start with pruning and trellising up the corn and the sunflowers because as you can see, they're very much falling down, and I think we're going to have a storm. I'm just going to use bamboo stakes and then tie the stems to the bamboo stakes. And also this is the butternut squash. It's gone crazy. It's kind of like rooted itself into this bed here, which is fine because this area was, I did plant some seeds in it, but they haven't really come up. Some of them have, you can see, and the radishes at the back have, but none of the other ones have really. It's probably because it wasn't watered enough when it was boiling hot, but that's fine. This can just take its way over here, but yeah, definitely gonna trellis this back and see what we're working with. So this is what we're looking like at the moment. You can see these ones down here have fallen over. These ones are just babies, so I may just pull some of the ones that are like really teeny tiny out. And then I've got a smaller waste bag that I'm going to pop all of the garden waste in. And then I think I'm going to do the soil in the other garden waste bag. Like this one is such a baby, but it's just not going to grow in time, so I'm going to pull ones like this out. Okay, so this is looking much better. They look so much taller now that I've trellised them up, but I've just popped them onto some bamboo cane and tied it around here as well. And I did the same for the sunflowers, except I also tied the 3 sunflowers together because they are very much leaning this way and I want them to stay as far that way as they can, except just realised I've blocked the actual sunflower. That's better. Looking very pretty. And then we've got some baby ones down here as well. I also moved as much of the butternut squash over this way as possible, and I'm just going to try and train it to kind of go over that way. I don't know what to do about these seeds. I think I might just leave them for now, because obviously only those ones have germinated out of the whole of this. I might just pull this one out because it's bugging me. But yeah, this section looks so much better now. Now onto the jungle of tomatoes, I think. This cucumber in the hanging basket was the one that I was talking about that wasn't doing very well, as is that one over there. So I'm just going to rip these out of here, just using it as my little storage area for the moment. Oh my gosh, it's stuck in there. Should have taken those out really. They they were just not loving life in the hanging baskets because they kept drying out. So I'm gonna put the strawberry plants from the tiered planter in there into the hanging baskets ready for next year. Now my main job here is to prune them as much as I can, and that one seems to have fallen over there, but look what I've just spotted. The very first ripening tomatoes. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I might cut these and then take them inside just because they're the first ones and I want to make sure that we get them and the bugs don't get them. But this is super, super exciting. Oh, I don't know how to say that. Principe Borghese tomato variety. So these ones I bought from the guy from Facebook, and happy to report they're finally blushing. I'm so excited about that. Okay, I'm gonna pick these ones off. I think I'll try and pull them first and then snip them if they maybe don't come off. Oh my gosh. You actually do not know how excited this makes me. I'm gonna get all of the ones that have some blushing on. I think there was 3 of these ones. Just the teeniest bit on the bottom, but these will continue to ripen inside. Look how perfect they look. There's no splitting on them or anything. Oh my gosh. So, so happy. These are White Wonder cucumbers, and I think they have probably gone past their best, especially this one because it's so chunky. But we're gonna pick these anyway. These are the first ones of this variety of the season, and I think it's just these 2 that are here. Little spider on that one. But there are so many, well, so many. I've seen 2 normal cucumbers. I don't think there were any others of the White Wonders. They were not looking very healthy at the beginning, but I'm glad to see that they are looking a lot better now. Oh my gosh, there are actually quite a few cucumbers back here. Let's pick them. These are Marketmore variety, and I've had 2 or 3 of these off this plant already. I think there is just 1 of these plants here. Yeah, definitely actually 1 of those, and I planted 2 of the White Wonders, but they are kind of not doing as well. But look how many there are. I've got 6 so far and there's 1 more back there. This is so exciting. It's literally giving Pinterest board right now. The pathway is literally covered by tomatoes, so I'm going to attack the front first and then make my way in, I think. But this is what I've done so far around this end, and it looks so much better now that it's all bare. I've just chopped back all of the side shoots and any leaves that don't have fruit on, basically, to get as much sun as possible to the fruits. And I think I may leave some of the leaves on the bed to kind of help with the water retention as well. Okay, I'm gonna rip all of the cabbage, not the cabbage, I've ripped the cabbage out from over there, and I'm gonna rip up the broccoli and the kale just because they have been annihilated and I was leaving them as food for the butterflies, but they're kind of in the way now. So I'm gonna get rid of these so that I can get to these tomatoes more easily. Then we can tackle the courgettes and the final tomatoes. But this is what we're looking like so far, and it looks so much better. You can see how many tomatoes we have is absolutely insane. There are so many, so it's just a waiting game for these to ripen. And I've taken both of the cucumbers out of here, and we're going to move the strawberries from this one. I think I'm going to keep the strawberries in this one, and some have actually rooted in the ground there, but looking so much better. And This is all of the cucumbers that we got so far. So many. And then we had some of the greener tomatoes. They were casualties of me being rough with the plant, but we've got so many. So I've just cleared away the cabbage and the kale, and I've come to look at the courgettes. Tell me why I've got what looks like a pumpkin growing. This courgette variety is supposed to be like this size, a little bigger than that size, and it's ginormous. Like, that is insane. I can't believe that. Even that one is big for the variety, and we've got this after a week. That is crazy. I'm going to chop back some of these leaves now so that we can get to the courgettes. Gloves on for the courgettes because they are spiky. That is insane. It's got baby snails on it. Wow. I don't know if that is going to be edible, but we'll cut into it and see. The second one, and even that one is pretty large. They're not quite ready yet, but that's okay. I definitely underestimated how long it was going to take to do this. I think I've been at it for maybe 3 or 4 hours. Tell me why I thought I was going to get everything done today, because I'm definitely not going to be getting everything done today. All of this is clear though, and it looks so much better. I've just done the courgettes as you've just seen, and I've kind of moved them out of the way. So one is going in one direction, the other is going in the other direction. So hopefully that will be a bit more manageable, because I definitely planted them too close together. Then these are the last tomatoes that I need to prune. And then I think once we've done this, I might call it a day. I'm gonna harvest some peppers and just see how much energy I have left. If not, I'll see you tomorrow, I think, after work. Again, unless I'm too tired because it's my first day back after holiday, but we shall see. But feeling much better that I've got this tidied up, and then it will just be a game of getting the patio all cleared up, because I've got so many pots going on that the majority of them are just not doing that well. Like these ones along here, these are okay but not amazing. The herbs are doing really well. And fix whatever this is, but look at the massive courgette that I found. I mean, it's not a courgette, it's a marrow at this point, but it's huge. It's ginormous. Anyway, I shall carry on. I have the greenest tomato fingers and my arms are getting super itchy. I knew I should have covered up whilst I was doing this, but I didn't. But yeah, this is the progress. So happy with it. I can't get over how many tomatoes are in this section specifically. I'm gonna have to check what variety these are, because they're doing amazing. I can't believe how prolific they are. I think this is the bed that we've got a few different varieties in, but I shall probably check back in my previous video and see what was planted out here, because I think I've lost the labels now. They're somewhere in there, but yeah, looking so much better. So it's the next day now, and I just wanted to show you the harvest from yesterday, which is absolutely crazy. I've literally been waiting all summer long to have a basket full of goodies from the garden, and I honestly cannot tell you how happy this makes me feel. So we have a few of the courgettes. A couple of them have some blemishes on, but these are so yummy. I'm definitely going to grow these again next year. I find that these ones are very buttery almost. They're very smooth, like compared to the usual courgettes, but They're super yummy. We've got so many cucumbers. I need to give some to my mum because I'm not going to get through all of these. Crazy amount. There's, I think, like 6 or 7 down here. But very happy with those. We have some of the very first ripe, well, getting there ripe tomatoes. And this was the ripest tomato. And it ripened completely on the vine. But yeah, very, very happy. We did have some casualties when I was chopping back the tomato plants. So some of these green tomatoes, I don't think they're going to ripen inside because they've not got any blushes on them yet. However, I do really, really want to make a green tomato chutney. So I might freeze these. I'm not sure. I don't know how long they're going to keep if I just keep them in the fridge until because I really need to leave them till the end of the season so that I can do a big batch and then call it a day. So I might have a quick Google and see whether I should freeze these before I do anything with them, or whether that's going to then ruin my plans. But very exciting. And then these are the Wonder cucumbers. I've not tried these yet, but they're super cute. They've both gotten a bit too big, really. But they're very cute anyway. And then I ripped out the Monge 2 plant that I had just because it was not thriving, but I was keeping it for as long as I could so that I could save some seeds from it. However, we only got one because the other ones just ended up going mouldy, but this is fine. You can hear I've got some seeds in there, so I might keep that just as it is over the winter, pop it in a jar just to save the seeds. But yeah, very excited with all of that. And then these are the ginormous courgettes. I actually don't think you understand how big this is. It's like at least a foot in length, and it is girthy to say the least. This is another one of the big ones. Oh, I've just dropped one of them on the floor and Ophelia's like, what are you doing? Ignore the socks and sliders. But yeah, massive. And then this pumpkin looking one is insane. These will last for quite a while, but I'm going to have to look up a recipe on what to do with marrows because there's a lot going on here. So I've just gotten back from work. We went out for dinner after work because it was one of my colleagues' birthday. Well, it's his birthday in 2 days, but we went out for dinner because it was his 50th, so that was fun. I've just emptied the basket so that I can pick some more vegetables. Gonna do the peppers, I think, first. All of the tomatoes look naked, but you can just see how many there are. They're looking so good. Everything is looking so much better today, but it's kind of late now. It's, I think, just gone 8 o'clock, but I'm gonna tackle, harvesting the rest of the peppers. Well, I say the rest, I've not done any yet. The peppers, and then also getting rid of any of the pots that are not thriving to clear some space in the garden, and also deadhead a lot of things, and just essentially condense the pots down that we've got. And I've also got some pots out the back, like on my driveway, that definitely need help. So that's what we're gonna get to. Oh, and also maybe do the strawberry plants as well. Oh, and I also need to repot the things that I've got for the allotment. Just down here, I've got a bunch of seeds, and as you can see, I've definitely oversown them because I just was not expecting that many to germinate. I think because when I sowed the seeds earlier on at the start of the year for the garden, hardly any of them germinated, and I think it's just because the weather now is so much warmer, but it just didn't clock in my head, but that's fine. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I might cut some herbs as well so that I can dry them for tea, but we'll see where the evening takes us. But I kind of need to get a wiggle on, so I'm going to stop yapping. So we have quite a few peppers to harvest in the greenhouse, so I definitely am thinking for next year I'm going to plant the peppers in the polytunnel at the allotment because they've not really grown much, like the actual plants themselves. Pretty much the ones at the bottom are like doing really well for some reason, as opposed to the ones on the top, which I'm not quite sure on, but like this one here is massive. but not got any fruit on it yet. But that's the best looking one. But that's okay. It's my first. Actually, to be fair, these have shot up recently. But they're not doing too bad considering it's my first time growing them. But we've got some sweet banana peppers and some jalapenos as well. That's satisfying. These look so good. I've never tried them. I was definitely thinking that they needed to ripen, but I don't think they do, so I've just picked them as they are. Oops, this one is pretty big. Then I'm going to leave that one. We've got some on that one back there, but they're a bit small. Then these ones, this one back here is a red Marsoni, so I know that this one definitely needs to ripen. And then we've got a Scotch bonnet here. Not going to pick that one yet because it needs to green up a bit. Oh, this bean is falling down, the cannellini bean. Oh, look at that little baby one. I think that's red Marsoni as well. We've got one back here. I have been fertilising these every couple of weeks or so with, I think it's with fish and bone meal. Blood, fish and bone meal, I think is what I've been using on these. Gonna pick this cucumber and then I'm gonna get rid of this plant because I think I mentioned in my previous video, but I just didn't love the taste of this cucumber. And so I let the plant die, as you can tell. I'm gonna snip these because it's spiky. These ones I'm actually very excited for. I was going to wait for them to ripen, but they're starting to get like splitting marks, so I'm just going to cut them off now. But again, I may freeze these so that I can make a hot sauce, is the goal, that I have enough chilies to make a hot sauce at the end of the season. They look so cute. And then this is a red Marsoni as well, so I'm going to leave this one there. Do I pick this? I've got so many marigold seeds already, but I feel like I have to. I feel like I can't leave it and not get the seeds. There's another one down here. That one's too far. Too far gone. I'm going to snip this mint plant back because it's not loving life here. And then I'm going to move it into the sun, I think, is probably the best port of call for this because it's just not looking too happy. I think I'm just going to chop all of it back and just see what comes back. I also definitely need to have a sweep because like the bark is all over the pathway up there and there's so many petals on the floor. These ones are just coming out. Those ones can probably stay. They're very pretty. These ones, I did save some of the seeds from the ones at the front, which are like pink and purple. Oh, I feel so bad. Like these are all seeds. They're like dandelions, how they come off, but the red is pretty, but it's not my favorite. So I don't think I'm going to save the seeds. And this is supposed to be a perennial, so it may come back next year. We shall see. I'm dropping a lot of seeds, so it probably will. So much quicker doing it this way than with the snippers. Gorgeous. I did kind of want to cut some of these to take them inside. Do I take the last ones off this, or do I wait for some more? Oh, I don't know. I could just do one. That's got quite a good stem on it, that one. Okay, I'll cut this one. Oops. So pretty. I love these. Some of these leaves are so crispy. Ew, so many cobwebs. This is the one good thing about containers, is you can move them once you've already planted them. So I've moved some peppers outside because I've got no peppers outside, and I think they'll get a lot more sun here. So I'm hoping that they'll do some bits here. I've moved these ones here, and I'm thinking to pop some other ones either here or maybe in that section over there. But that section doesn't get much sun, so it's actually probably a better idea to put them here. The only thing is, can sometimes feel a little bit crowded when you're walking through here, but I could always move whatever's along here onto this side, just so that everything's a little bit tidier, because it's very overwhelming having it all here. Look at the cobwebs though. So many spiders are crawling out, and I'm just trying not to think about it because I don't want to think about it. But yeah, this is going to be bit of a hot mess for my brain to handle, but it is what it is. It's what the garden wants, is to be in the sun, so it's just gonna have to be not very cute, I think, for the meantime, but I'll try and line things up and make it look nice. I dig out the plants that I want to maybe put into the ground, pop them into like a random pot, and then clear out the ones that I don't want, because I think it's mostly just these here that I want to do that with. So I think I might quickly do that, and then I may put that lavender in a hanging basket for out the front, but let's wait and see. Okay, my phone is about to die, so I am gonna empty these out. I'm gonna pick the plants that I want, and then I'm gonna plant them in the ground, and then I'll give you a quick tour either this evening if it's not too dark, or in the morning. Okie dokie, it's a few days later now. It's currently Tuesday, and I started doing this on Sunday, I think it was, but finally got everything sorted. So I'm gonna, oh, sorry Elijah, almost kicked him over. So I'm gonna start down here, because what I've done is I've cleared away all of the pots that were kind of down this area here, and it did kind of make it difficult to walk through, and you'll see along the pathway as well, I've cleared some of the pots there again because it was just getting too overgrown, and when you were trying to walk through it you would just get attacked by plants. So I've quickly just potted up my potential 2 lemon trees, because I was looking at the stickers on the plant pots and both of them said lemon. So instead of a lemon and a lime, I think I've got 2 lemons, because I was thinking that these did look a bit lemon-like rather than limes. They're not very round, so I might have 2 lemon trees. But that's okay, I guess. Kind of annoying, but it is what it is. We'll wait and see. It's a good job that I use more lemons than I do limes. But I've potted those up, and I think I'm going to put these either out the front or in the basement, because I've got like a cellar window, so they can be right underneath the window, and that gets the morning sunlight, which is the best because my house is north facing, so they would get the sunlight for the majority of the day. So I've not decided on that completely yet, but I'm kind of leaning towards downstairs because I don't really have much room in the living room for them, and they obviously need to be inside over winter. So I think downstairs is probably the best option. And I've not got loads of room out the front, so I think I'm just going to pop the rose back. It looks very bare because I have trimmed it all back because a lot of the leaves were dying. I think the pot that it was in before was just too small, and with the heat and everything, it just dried out way too quickly in the smaller pot. So I've popped it into a bigger pot, and fingers crossed that's all fine. As we get into the actual garden, I've kept the rose here. I am going to put this in the ground next year once I clear away all of the vegetable patch. But for now, it's just going to stay here, I think, over the winter in its pot. Still got these flowers here. Nothing has changed with the trees. I'm thinking I'm going to put these in the ground next year because I have exciting plans for the garden. So now that I've got the allotment, I'm going to clear away all of these garden beds. So I'm not going to be growing vegetables in this garden next year. I'm going to turn it into like cottage core garden vibes. So I'm going to have like a patch of grass at the front with some like side beds, and I also am going to take up these paving slabs here because they don't even match the ones like on the actual patio. These look so dirty, even though I jet washed them. Well, it was a few months ago now, wasn't it? But they need another jet wash. But these don't match this patio anyway, so I'm going to remove these, and then I'm going to move the pathway over slightly and build a bigger kind of bed here, not an actual raised bed, but just an in-ground one. And it's going to be very, very cute. I might put a screenshot up here of what it looks like, but I also might leave it, well, what the vision is going to be like, but I also might leave it as a surprise because that is what we're going to be working on over the winter. And the final thing that we're going to be working on over the winter is I'm going to build a chicken coop, because I've decided I'm going to get them. I've been thinking about it for too long, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to get them. So I'm going to think about building that at the back end of the garden. I've done the measurements and everything. I think I'm just going to get 4, and they need at least 40 square feet of run space. So I've built them, well, I've not built it yet obviously, but the one that I've designed has around 70 to 80 square feet for them. So it should be a nice little home for them. But that's going to be that end of the garden, and then I'm going to have a cute little lawn area here so we can have like a picnic, barbecue, etc. And I'm also just loving all of this clear space on the patio now. Because the garden's been so full of like veggies and stuff, I've not really been able to like just sit out here and like with other people. I sit out here by myself on the chair, which has got its cover on now, but when my family come over, we're always inside, even if the weather's lovely, because I filled the garden with vegetables, which is fine because that was exactly my vision for the year. But next year it's going to be a little bit different. So you'll see I've cleared all of these pots away from here, and I've moved the majority into the middle of the garden beds where I pulled up the brassicas that were in here. I've also popped some extra ones here because I didn't have anything planted in the front parts of the rows. So I've got basil, my echinacea, and some thyme. Then the courgettes are looking much better. I have pruned them all back, and I have made an attempt to trellis this one because it is a lot smaller than the others. These are way too big and way far gone now. I've definitely learnt my lesson for next year on that, but at the allotment I'll have a lot more room to space things out, to kind of give them enough room to sprawl out, if you will. I've left the hanging baskets, well, those two are empty. This one I got from round the front, which just had a pink lavender in, but that was not loving life. I chopped it back and it has started to grow back, which is good, because that was very pretty. But I'm going to pop that in the ground next year, and then I don't know what I'm going to do with these hanging baskets. I did originally think about putting the strawberries from this tiered planter in there, but I think I'm actually just going to take those down to the allotment and make a strawberry bed. I think that will make more sense. Then back here, we've got all of the autumn seeds ready for the allotment. So they were in smaller pots and I had definitely overcrowded the pots. So I've just split them out. Some of them look very lanky, but I just did this yesterday evening. So just going to wait for those to perk up a bit, and I need to give everything a water once I finish this with my new hose pipe that my dad got me for my birthday. I'm going to show you actually because I'm obsessed with it. It's so easy and does not leak anywhere, and I've got one of like the long handles. Very exciting, but that's what happens when you're in your 20s, I guess. I've moved some of the pepper plants out of the greenhouse because they don't really get much sun in there. They are doing well, but I just thought, let's bring them outside and see how they do out here. Then at the back of this bed, I moved the rhubarb and I cut off all of its dead leaves because it definitely dried out in the sun and was not loving life. So I've moved that there in the shade. This is also going to go to the allotment. And then I planted out the black beans, that was like the little test that we did, just because they weren't loving life in the pot. This area doesn't get a lot of sun, so I don't think they're gonna love life here either. But I've just left them there and we'll see what happens. And then I also put these nasturtiums in the ground that were in a pot. Also not looking too happy, but they were only planted out yesterday, so they should perk up in a few days. The cucumber looks so good. I'm very impressed. So then I've moved over a lot of the pots from here that I mentioned. So I've got the the golden raspberry here, and it's finally producing fruit. So I must have just been wrong. I thought it fruited for the whole summer, but I think it is just like autumn fruiting, which is fine. At least I know that it's still alive and doing well because I love this plant so much. I've had it for about 5 years. I kept it in this pot the entire time, hardly ever give it any food, and it was from Wilko's. RIP Wilko's, because they don't exist anymore. But yeah, £2.50 that cost me about 5 years ago, and it's still thriving. Moved these tomato plants over here again just because they were kind of blocking the way along here. Got my little helper eating the grass. He keeps doing that. They're there. They get the same amount of sun as they did there, and again, just easier because it's covering an area that we've already pulled things out of the garden. Then I know this is just the stuff that I need to take care of, and then this side I don't need to worry about as much. The corn is almost ready. I did peel this back yesterday to have a quick look, and it's not quite ready, so I'm going to leave that for a few more days. Still nothing on the butternut squash, but that's okay. Then along this side we've got some strawberries in this planter, and I'm going to leave these here, and I'll just move those down to the patio for next year, I think, or maybe like outside the chicken coop or something. Then we've got all of the herbs, which I think they are going to enjoy life a lot more here because this gets a lot more sun than down on the patio. The patio doesn't really get any direct sunlight, so I've kind of been struggling with things like taking a very long time to grow down there, which obviously makes sense because it's got no sun. But I was just trying to utilize as much space as I had, and I've kind of just realized it's not worth it for especially that area down there. The trees quite like it there because they can get some of the sun that comes across in the morning, but they're the kind of only things that are doing well. Apart from the flowers don't mind it. But hoping that these perk up. The mint I chopped back, as you saw earlier on, because it just wasn't loving life, and I'm hoping that now that it's out in the sun it will enjoy life a little bit more. We've got this raspberry plant which is literally like toppled over because it's just one really long cane. I did try and stake this up, but it doesn't seem to have stayed. Okay, I've just tried to pop it back up because it just needs to stay standing as long as it can. But look, little ladybird. But yeah, this raspberry also must have been autumn fruiting, and I just didn't realise, because we're getting all of them through now. The blackcurrant, which we got a whole like 2 blackcurrants off, but again, I'll take this to the allotment for next year. I think I should really chop some of these leaves off as well, but that will be going to the allotment in kind of autumn time, once the whole garden has been put to bed. I think I'm then going to take all of the perennials over to the allotment, plant them out, and I guess that will be after we have planted these out. Autumn time is really when I'm gonna be getting started on everything for next year, because I'm just too impatient to wait, and I'm very excited about getting everything set up. So we've also got the 3 blueberry plants here. Again, they will go to the allotment next year, but they're doing okay considering it's their first year. This one's put on a lot of growth recently, actually, and we've got a few blueberries off them, so that's good. These carnations I grew from seed. None of them have actually flowered yet, but we are getting the heads forming, so that's exciting. Lavender snapdragons, they will go in the ground as well. And then these are some random parsnips. I did have peas in here, hence the trellis, but I've pulled those out because they also didn't love life. They died in the heat, which is fair enough. I was very late planting those, but I've just left these parsnip in here because again, this was something that I planted months ago now, but it was one of the pots down there originally. I moved it up here to get some more sun, and they seem to have come out now that the sun is getting on them a little bit more, but it's just very spotty germination, but we're leaving them for now, and we'll try again next year at the allotment. The allotment just gets a lot more sun than this garden does. It gets full sun for the whole entire day, so it's going to be much more prolific next year, and hopefully, fingers crossed, a little bit easier. I found it kind of difficult because I guess a lot of things just like were not germinating, and I was kind of testing my luck with the amount that I could do with the amount of sun that I have, because in the morning the sun starts rising here, and then by midday it's kind of stopped here, so really only this part gets sun for a decent amount of time. I'm surprised how well the tomatoes have done in this area. It has been a very, very hot and dry year, which I think has helped the tomatoes, having them in this garden especially, but I'm very happy that those are the things that have kind of made their way through, because that's what I was most excited about. And the peppers are doing really well in here. I think having them in the greenhouse, even though they don't get as much direct sunlight, it's still very warm and humid for them in here, so they are doing okay. They are a bit small, but we've got fruit on basically all of the plants, so can't really complain. But I think that is everything checked off my list. I've repotted all of the plants that I needed to. I've done all of the seeds for the allotment, so fingers crossed they should be ready to go out in a couple of weeks when my sister and I work on popping all of the no dig beds at the allotment. Pruned everything back, which was the main tasks. Had a brilliant harvest basket, very, very excited about that, and trellised everything at the back, and it's looking so much better. So happy with it. And the cats have loved being outside for so long, because obviously I was away on holiday, and Dad came round during the day to play with them, but they've not been able to kind of run outside for a couple of hours during the day as they usually would, so they're very happy to be out here. I literally just love watching them in the garden. I could honestly watch them forever out here. It's so cute. But I think that is everything. I feel like I'm missing something. I'm sure I probably am. But yeah, I'm just so happy with how it's looking now. Very, very happy. Thank you so much for watching, and we will catch you in the next one.